Hello everybody and welcome back to Red Eagle Politics. Make sure you guys like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So we're finally back and we have more news to cover this week, and Donald Trump's lead is hitting a record high. They're going after him. They're trying to bring him down. So far, it hasn't affected him, not just in the primary polling, but also the general election polling. But really, there's this whole argument about electability. And a lot of the DeSantis camp is trying to use that to wedge him to be a superior candidate to Trump. But his campaign is so terminally online and incompetent that he continues his plunge. He's in third place in more national polling. In the aggregate, he is polling below 15%. And Donald Trump's lead in RCP has officially hit a record high in the latest polls. The last four polls we've seen, he's up by 45 points, 42 points, 43 points, and another that has him up by 43 percentage points. There's a reason why Donald Trump is not debating. And honestly, we could say it's entertaining. He gets back in the national eye. Maybe that would help him a little bit, gain support potentially if he does well. But then again, if you're up that high, why legitimize it? What's really the point? On the night of the debate, Donald Trump could do an interview with Tucker Carlson, and nobody's going to watch the debate then, and then Donald Trump has this beef with Fox, and then Fox's ratings are going to plummet. It's going to be funny, and then he'll let Vivek stand in there as his stand-in attack dog for Ron DeSantis, and also somebody that will be one of the only people, if not the only person on that debate stage that's going to be defending Donald Trump's presidency. So honestly, I think Trump, looking through it through his lens of not debating, he sees it as a win-win, but that's really just the way that it is. When you look at the polls, this is incredible. DeSantis was somebody that was supposed to take on Trump. He was leading some national polls after the midterms, like 8 months ago even. He was polling within, 10 points or so of Donald Trump. Trump wasn't really doing so hot at the time, but he has regrouped since then. These charges are not affecting him. If anything, they're helping him in a primary. And on top of that, his messaging so far has been improved. It's been spot on. Not a lot of people are talking about it, but when Donald Trump goes out there, when he's in the eye of the media, this is more 2016 Trump than it is 2020 Trump. And as a result, you have 2024 Trump, and he kind of can look back at his presidency and combine that with his original messaging. It's working so far. He has a massive lead. And Vivek Ramaswamy, despite, dropping the ball with messaging here and there, I don't support Vivek, but he's beating DeSantis. DeSantis' campaign is that awful. They've ceded so much ground to these insufferable social media influencers. DeSantis is letting them run amok, and as a result, they're just damaging his brand. I don't know what he thought he was doing when he decided to put his foot in the race. There's no reason for him to do so. He was somebody that was well-liked. Yes, there were always flaws he had. I even called them out at the time. He doesn't exactly have the charisma. His voting record at the national level when he was in Congress was pretty murky. But overall, if he just spent 4 more years as governor, united the party, got behind Donald Trump, I really feel as if he would be in a much better position for 2028, because then he could say, oh, I wasn't in Congress for the past 10 years or so. Look what I did as governor if he was going to run in 2028. And maybe instead of spending $200 million on a failed 2024 bid to oust Trump, which is being egged on by the donor class and the political establishment, Ron DeSantis could have gotten more done in Florida, would be spending more time there than in Iowa. And on top of that, maybe he could have spent $2 million, which is a hundredth of what he's spending on his failed presidential run, on a personality class and, get some personality charisma lessons. Maybe, I don't know. But either way, he would have had a chance had he done everything right in 2028. Not saying he would have even been my first choice if people like Vance or Hawley are in the mix, but still, he would have had a shot. But instead, a lot of people are viewing him as somebody who caved to the establishment because they wanted him to run to oust Trump. He showed his true colors, and as a result, he's polling below some guy named Vivek that not a lot of people knew existed 9 months ago. I didn't even know he existed when he announced his presidential run. And then even though Tim Scott's polling low in some of these polls, He's polling decent in Iowa, decent in South Carolina. In some polls, he's second place there, to the point where the establishment and the donor class even is going to abandon DeSantis. He's not going to have anybody left. He's going to be polling down by some of these people. He's closer to this guy named Binkley than he is to Donald Trump. It's not even close. I don't even know who Binkley is. I don't even know if that guy's actually running for president or if he's real or if it's a he or a woman or whatever. But still, that's where we're at right now. Another poll showing Trump with a 45-point lead over DeSantis. DeSantis has dropped by 7 points since June. Vivek Ramaswamy is up by 6 points. Just 7 more reboots, guys. How many times have they rebooted the campaign, shaken up the campaign, fired people? It's not working. It doesn't matter. There's exactly nothing that they're able to do except do things that are dumb that cause them to lose even more support. And it's laughable. It really is. They're running a terminally online campaign. They're trying to outflank Trump from the right unsuccessfully. And what it's doing is it's making DeSantis more unpalatable to the so-called moderate independents that they claim that DeSantis is going to be some sort of electoral juggernaut with. It's not exactly true. It's not the case. You're seeing this trend everywhere. Another poll came out last week out of Texas, and the same poll back after the midterms had DeSantis gaining. Trump was up by 17 last October. DeSantis took an 11-point lead over Trump in Texas. He was at 43%. Trump was at 32%. Maybe people at the time liked the idea of Ron DeSantis, but when they actually got acquainted with him and his campaign and everything that came with it, look at what happened. Trump has a 35-point lead over Ron DeSantis. That is a net swing, from what we can tell here, of about 46 percentage points. He also leads the head-to-head by 24%. Wow, you're looking at Texas, a state that Donald Trump did not win in the 2016 primaries, and you have, a relatively large group of the never Trump type of Republicans in places like suburban Dallas or Houston or wherever, but Donald Trump is uniting the party, galvanizing the base. He's going to win Texas, not just in the primary, but also in the general. And you talk about the delegate threshold, DeSantis is not really polling where he needs to be to even clear it at this point. So Donald Trump, as it stands, is going to have a massive delegate sweep in a lot of places, including Florida, by the way. DeSantis trails Trump by like 20 points in every poll out of his home state where he's currently governor of to Donald Trump. Think about that for a second. It's brutal. He can't run a campaign to save his life. He was polling at 31.2. Trump was polling in the low 40s at the time. Oh, maybe DeSantis would have a chance? No. Trump has a 39.7% lead in the RCP aggregate. That's virtually a 40-point lead. That is his record high. DeSantis, on the other hand, is polling below 15%. He's hit a record low, even before the midterms, even back in 2021, where he didn't even have that high of name recognition. He was polling higher than he is right now. And Vivek, as the days go by, is closing that gap. By the way, much of Vivek's support at the end of the day is probably going to consolidate behind Donald Trump when Vivek doesn't exactly do all that well in some of these early primary states and is going to drop out. He's likely going to endorse Trump. And as a result, all of his support, whatever 5 to 10% of the GOP he has, they're all going to consolidate behind Donald Trump, and that's going to pad his numbers down the stretch. That's where we are at right now. DeSantis' campaign doesn't know what they're doing, and now they're paying the price. $200 million of Republican establishment money going down the drain. This is Jeb Bush the sequel. You have somebody who is a governor from Florida. I'm not saying DeSantis is as bad as Jeb Bush, although his campaign is arguably more incompetent. But what you're seeing is you have somebody who was a governor of Florida, jumps in the presidential race and is backed by the same donor class, and he's struggling and he's falling. He was polling decently well before. Now he's polling below 15%. How is he going to recover? You could say, well, the debates haven't happened yet. We're going to reboot again. We're going to regroup. Doesn't matter. Listen, DeSantis is not really the best public speaker. In fact, he does better when people aren't listening to him speak. He does better when he hasn't really been in the media eye. But when he is in the media eye, he's fallen. He's lost half of his supporters. Since the start of the year, half of his supporters have defected. And the lion's share of them have defected to Donald Trump because Twitter is not real life. And that's the way it is. Donald Trump is somebody that's under investigations. He's about to be 4 times indicted. But the American people, the people within the Republican base, they don't care. And it's a good thing that they don't care. And as a result, his support is only really growing stronger, at least in the Republican primary. And we could talk about the general election all we want, but I'll take an indicted Trump from prison even over somebody as incompetent as the DeSantis campaign. If you're looking for somebody to go out there and beat Biden, he's not going to be in prison. We know that. It's going to be a hell of a ride. They're going to do everything they can to stop him. He's not guaranteed victory. But somebody like DeSantis, who can't even get 15% against Trump in a primary, for one, for two, his policies on a lot of things, his economic policy, his trade policy, that's going to make him DOA in the Rust Belt. Biden's going to try to outflank him from the populist side. And on top of that, they're just going to hammer abortion 24/7 against DeSantis, whereas somebody like Trump makes that a non-issue at the national level. It's pretty obvious that Trump is the more electable choice. He's the most electable pick. He should get the nomination. He possibly can beat Biden. It's not a guarantee, but Trump gives you a lot better shot against Biden than DeSantis, and that's something I think a lot of people are starting to understand when they look at the missteps of the DeSantis campaign, and that's partially why Trump's lead is as big as it is. But this is a massive lead that Trump has, especially for somebody that has a lot of money being dumped in, being poured in against him. And the coping is hilarious. It's going to continue to ensue. We'll see what happens after the debates. But as of right now, I really, really can't see DeSantis making up that lost ground, especially with the fact that Iowa's 5 months away and his campaign is in utter free fall. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Like this video down below, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media. The links are all in the description down below. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Red Eagle, out.